Many Americans today are confused and concerned about the future of our families. We're talking about low marriage rates, high divorce rates, increasing cohabitation, increasing non-marital births, and this is causing concern to many. So is the American family in trouble? James Q. Wilson, in his essay, Family Values Debate, believes that yes, the family is in trouble. And the key reason for this, he says, is that we are becoming too self-indulgent, we are becoming too individualistic. And he specifically addresses women, and he says that women should try to balance between their individual rights and their family obligations. On the no side is Stephanie Coombs, who feels we are very nostalgic about the 1950s family, the nuclear family with a male breadwinner and female homemaker, and she feels that what we should be doing is not worrying too much about the family structure, but we should be focusing mainly on quality of life. In fact, she chides our moralistic policymakers. She says that they should be focusing more on improving the lives of children, especially in female-raised families. So is the American family in trouble?
The American family is obviously in trouble. Children these days are not being taught the correct moral values and respect for single-parent families. The mother or father will work all day and be too busy to spend time with his or her child. Children are getting most of their values from television, and we all know TV isn't the best thing to learn moral values from. There's too many sex and drugs on TV and unrealistic experiences from characters on TV. Parents need to be more old-fashioned. Kids are given too much power and don't get enough input and advice from their parents anymore. A lot of these kids take care of themselves. They cook, they clean, they walk to school, etc. every day because single-parent households are just too busy. Personal experience I have, I know this single-parent mom who is always too busy to take care of her family. She has 5 kids. The kids do everything for themselves. The kids had a stealing problem when they were younger. 5 kids were just too much for her to give each kid what they wanted and not enough attention to each that they end up stealing. The mother has a liberal view and is very lenient on matters of discipline. She has a little boy who stays up till 4 a.m. every day. She has caught him many times and each time saying, "Don't do it, or else." But he just does it again, and nothing ever happens to him.
There's a lot of reasons why families don't really want to get married. That'll end the nuclear family and stuff that had how families were in the 1950s. Divorce rates rose from 1965 to 1980. 50% of recent marriages will end in divorce by the age of 75. And people who marry during high school are 2 to 4 times more likely to divorce than those who marry after 20. So part of the reason people are they're just getting married too early, and they're marrying the wrong person, so they end in divorce. The cost of divorce has decreased, so it's a lot easier for you to get a divorce. You don't really have to have a specific reason. There's a no-fault divorce. Just marry someone because you don't like the color of their hair. It doesn't really matter. And society today is also more tolerant of divorce. In the 50s, if you were divorced, you kind of looked down upon. So, yeah. You can also get remarried a lot easier. A lot of people will get married, divorce, and then remarried. I work with someone who's been married 3 times and divorced 3 times. So it's a huge cause in divorce rates and why people don't get married anymore.
Another personal experience I have. My parents divorced when I was 7 years old. I lived with my father for like 3 years in Texas, and he became an alcoholic at one point. And there was one point where I did everything for myself, literally. I mean, I walked to school, I washed my clothes, and homework. I never had any help, and it was just always hard. And sometimes I'd visit my mom, and then eventually with my mom, my dad got better, and things were fine. But it's just much harder nowadays for single parents to do everything, especially when they're working, and they're working to support their family usually, and it's hard when you're just doing it by yourself.
Another one I put on here was family structure, because there is a lot of families out there. Obviously, I know so many people, single parent, step parent, foster parents, stuff like that. And I actually also had a family experience to share about, was that my brother, he's my half brother, so my real dad is his stepdad. And growing up, it was just really hard because my dad didn't pay any attention to him. My brother didn't come to my birthday parties when I was growing up. He wasn't allowed to go. And like, it was just like hard not being able to see my brother and like, but I don't know. But like my brother and my dad fought a lot, so I don't know. It's just like, is American family in trouble? When you see stuff like that happen, it's like, yeah, it is.
Okay, I did the exchange theory part of it, and like the exchange theory is like basically you have everything like set out for you, like you make your decision with what you want to do with that, and like it's like the gold diggers and the benefits and stuff. So like people like Anna Nicole, who's not with us anymore, but where she married a 75-year-old guy or however old he was, and was with him basically for the money, and once he died she got really wealthy over it, and like fear of it, and like like where in the movie Enough, where like she's like scared, like Jennifer Lopez was like scared to get hit, you know, everything, and like, but then it's like feel safety at the same time, where you feel like you have to be with them, otherwise if you're not with them then they can like come out and find you and like, yeah, do something bad then. And then a personal thing that I have is actually one of my close friends that I've known for a long time. He has a single mom right now, and he has grown up perfectly fine with, but when he was younger, he has a younger brother and an older brother who has like never really been there for him, but when he was younger, his dad killed his mom and went to jail. His dad went to jail for it and then eventually killed himself. So like, he ended up having to go into like a foster home for a while, and then he has like an awesome mom now and everything. And, but where a lot of kids, if they see something where like their dad kills their mom or vice versa or anything, it's like they see that in their head, and that's what they just like keep picturing throughout their life, and so they don't really turn out that great. They'll go and get into trouble and stuff. But he's lucky enough to like find, he has the mom now as a single parent and raised him great.
Another thing, if you think about it, you know, kids who are raised by one parent usually get in a lot of problems in society, you know, do drugs or something bad. I remember when I was a kid, you know, I relied a lot on my friends, and, you know, kids at an early age do a lot of stupid stuff. Hey, let's go do this, let's do that, let's smoke, let's throw this. I mean, just thumbs up. You don't have a parent that's telling you, hey, you shouldn't do this, and they don't give you enough reasons why. You know what I mean? I mean, it's always good to have someone behind your back saying, this is why it's bad, this is why you shouldn't do it. Instead, you know, they don't have time for that. You know, they're too busy, they're too tired, always worrying about how to, you know, support their family, and all they're doing is, I mean, you know, the only support they're giving is the money side of it, but they're not giving the emotional side of it.
Definitely. And like another thing is, we were talking about that earlier, is that we're not saying it's bad if you have a single parent or if you have a step parent. So I mean, some families, they do awesome when they have, you know, different kind of family structures. But in a lot of cases, it does put a lot of stress on the family, and mothers have to work twice as hard when they're single parents, and they don't spend enough time with their kids, stuff like that. So we're not saying it's like, you don't have a perfect family, that's bad. But in a lot of cases, yeah, it does make it a lot more difficult on everybody's part in the family.
Especially hard for women too, because they usually get paid less than that, and harder finding a job usually. It's not because of, you know, sexist thing, but, you know, when women have a baby, they sometimes can't do their job. It's a lot of issues with